A few days ago, I was listening to some music and a song by this old school girl group came on. The group is called The Emotions, and the song is entitled You Got the Best of My Love. And as I was listening to it, I was thinking, that's an interesting thought. And so from that, I'm forming a question for you and for myself, and that is your spouse getting the best of your love? Or are they getting your leftovers? Does your spouse get the best of who you are, or do you reserve that for other people? It's sad but true, but married couples can be very guilty of treating other people better than they treat their spouse. Sometimes common courtesies that we just easily extend to other people, we will withhold from our spouse. And that should not be the case. We should not be treating anyone better than we treat the one person that we committed our lives to, the one person that we made promises and vows to. We should not be out in these streets treating anybody better than we treat our spouse. But, there can sometimes be some very common reasons for that. Sometimes over time, we begin to take each other for granted, and we just stop doing those things that we know we should do to treat each other with kindness and respect. Sometimes there's a blockage there, and it makes it difficult for us to give our spouse the best of our love. And then sometimes between married couples, there's this silent war, this undercurrent where we really treat each other like the enemy. And so we don't want to say or do anything that would give our spouse an advantage over us, because then it feels like they've won. Well, if any of these are the case for you, I just encourage you to release them, because they are all extremely destructive to the marriage. I just encourage you to begin to change your attitude and ask God to help you to resolve any issues of anger or frustration that you might have that's blocking you from giving your spouse the best of your love. Marriage is important to God. How we treat each other is important to God. And so He wants us to treat each other with love and with dignity and with respect. And so if you find that, my spouse has not been getting the best of my love, I just encourage you to change that attitude, and to say and resolve in your mind and your heart from this day forward that, of all people, my spouse is always going to get the best of my love.